Hello and welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. My name is Bill Sullivan, and I'm the Solution Portfolio Manager for the Pharos Major Accounts Business Unit. My role on the Pharos team is to bring our customer needs to our development community to help shape our product direction. I appreciate everyone that has joined us here today. You all are our lifeblood. Without you, we couldn't have achieved 97 to 98% retention every year for the last 15 years. Certainly, we are not perfect, and we have worked through challenges with some customers this year. But we strive to show that our responsiveness, resilience, and care to resolve is always strong, and together we can not only overcome challenges, but drive our products to be better tomorrow than they are today. As a part of today is the respect we have for our customers. Not only do we seek to always protect the investment you've made with Pharos, but we are also here to share what our plans are for the future. Part of what we are showing today is a direct response to what you have told us was important. This community should be as important to you as it is for us. So today, we'll be sharing the themes that we are using as our guide for Pharos development and delivery efforts in 2017, and review the what and when of our many planned releases. We will discuss for the first time Century Print Services, secure authenticated print provided by our Beacon Cloud platform, with no print servers, with dashboards, and more mobility. While I am the presenter of the content for you today, I am here in the Rochester office with the team you see here on the screen. This team wants to hear from you about our current products and those needs that you have today and the needs that you have for the future. So we'd love to hear from you. Please enter questions and comments into the question box. We will be able to address some of those questions on the webinar today. All others will be answered and posted on our community page. Also, a recorded version of the webinar will be made available. And for those just joining us, welcome. Today we're going to review the Pharos Beacon Cloud platform, Blueprint Enterprise, mobile print in our Pharos print apps, our terminals, which is at our on-device experience with IMFPs and Century Omega hardware, and of course, Uniprint. As we have time, we'll do question and answers for those that we can get to, and those that we don't get to, we will make sure to follow up after the session. So let's start with Beacon. As many know, Beacon is our cloud platform we've been investing in for the last several years. And we began by focusing on making print visible, taking those things that have been difficult in the past to view and make actions on and bring them up to showing you your fleet, what people are printing, how they're printing it, where they're printing it, and all those associated costs. Our themes that are driving our Beacon development for 2017 is the launch of a new product within that platform, Century Print Services. This is secure authenticated print directly from the cloud platform, and we're going to spend time reviewing that. We'll also be working on more actionable analytics within Beacon and print user reporting. We're being driven to be more international with our cloud platform. And one of the key things at Pharos is, and it has now begun, is to take and leverage the beacon technologies that we've been working on and developing, and taking those technologies and the learnings and driving them back into our Blueprint, Uniprint, and IMSP product lines. And that work is begun this year. So, deliveries. This spring, we're pleased to announce that Pharos was awarded the HP Partnership Innovation Award for 2017 for our cloud products. We also have our Century Print services in early customer testing with mobile device to QR code authentication, as well as proximity card with our Century SR25 hardware across all makes and models of devices. We've also released to the app stores and iOS and Android apps for our new Century Print services. This summer, Century Print Services takes a big move forward by adding integrated print support for HP, Konica Minolta, and Ricoh devices. That means Century Print Services will be able to install directly onto a machine and create that authentication experience for the user right on board the machine. Also, Mac support for Century Print Services, Mac workstation support was coming, as well as work on additional languages. Moving further out in the year, we'll be continuing the integrated printer support and adding more makes and models into that suite for the Beacon platform. Also, those mobile apps that have been released will take on the ability to have a job list and managing finishing options for the user right on their mobile device, as well as a focus on expanding our user reporting capabilities across the platform. So lots of work, lots of exciting things, and lots of new technology here that's really focused on making all of this easier. And as we develop that technology, as I've mentioned several times, we're applying that back into our other products. Just going to spend a few more minutes on Beacon platform. So what's been out there in the field is our Beacon Fleet Manager. That's very easy to install. It finds your fleet of printers, interacts directly with the printers to bring up all the data around volumes, toner levels, the status of your fleet, and associated operating costs across your fleet of devices. And then the real powerful stuff, Beacon Print Analytics, all the user data. Who's printing? What are they printing? What department they are? Lots of data collected here, brought up, and shows you those trends and analytics of the behaviors that are driving print across your organization. And now the new product to the family, Century Print Services. Again, secure pull printing. Users print from their workstation as they normally would. The jobs are held, and then they go and authenticate at any device to release those printers. This is done with no on-site server requirements, and it's very easy setup for both IT and user registration. Just a few more benefits there. So you get all the benefits of secure pull printing, that authentication, reduction of unclaimed prints and reprints, confidentiality. We always see dramatically reduced print volumes and costs. And these methods also, we see a lot of convenience of people really enjoying using their devices, mobile devices, and their cards to print in this way. On the back side, you enjoy the benefits of the cloud services. Easy setup and management, reduction in your infrastructure, and overall a lot less to manage, and you can manage remote sites and manage the system from anywhere, anytime, any place. Just to make this a little more visible for everyone today, I'm just going to do a couple of screenshots. This is the new dashboard for Century Print Services, really highlighting across your fleet what's secured and what's not secured, and then across your users, what print is being done in a secure, authenticated print release manner and what's not, showing overall usage of the system, and purged and deleted. So those prints that are printed by the user but never released at a printer automatically gets purged out of the system, which is a direct savings to your organization. To make all this happen, the administrator of the system goes through these 4 steps of setting the types of release, selecting the devices that want to be secured. The system automatically reaches out and secures those devices. Then they deploy print scouts out to the workstations of those users that will be participating, and invites those users to register to Century Print Services. And this is just the opening screen for the user. They go through a 4-step wizard where they select authentication methods that they would like to use or that are available to them, and then they register themselves to Beacon Secure Print Services with this easy wizard. That's a one-time setup, and then they're up and printing within the environment, and it's just that easy. So we're very excited about all these efforts and bringing them out to our customers in higher ed back office, in remote facilities across other organizations. We've gotten a lot of positive response so far in this solution, and so you'll be hearing more and more from Pharos about this. And you're going to see more and more of these technologies being a part of our other solutions as well. Moving on to Blueprint Enterprise. So shifting down outside the cloud onto our server-based products. Some of the themes that are driving us in 2017 continue to work towards web administration and ease of use for administrators. Overall, we are looking very hard at how do we reduce infrastructure requirements for our server-based products, and how can we better manage those resources that do need to be in your environment. Improved deployment and upgrading is also something that's key. So we'll be starting a beta very shortly. Blueprint 5.2 Service Pack 3 is about to hit beta in July. We'll be introducing a new delegate printing via the Print Center. Improved health tests and notifications. Support for Mobile Print 2.2.1. We'll be looking at a new Print Center log event viewer, support for SNMP-v3, and some new reporting. So our deliveries here for Blueprint. End of this summer, in addition, there'll be a Service Pack 3.1, where we will be supporting TSL 1.2, Server 2016 and SQL Server 2016 support, AD group support, as well as IPP print delivery. So that will be soon after Service Pack 3 will be coming out with 3.1. And then planned for the future is additional health dashboard. We're working hard on full end-to-end encryption with Blueprint product out to all the terminals. We're looking at a card management solution, support for IPv6, as well as a Beacon Cloud Connector. We'll touch on just a few of the details here coming out in the beta release in July. The delegate printing feature has been moved up into Print Center, allowing delegate printing without the need to install our client software. Once enabled, users see the new delegate tab in Print Center where they can add and manage their delegates. We've also added a new type of delegate printing called Delegates on Demand. Delegates on Demand allow you to add and remove delegates for individual print jobs after they've been submitted. You simply select the print job in your job list and then click Edit Delegate. This is useful for customers who occasionally need to assign delegates, but they're not always as a part of their everyday printing process. Additionally, we've added email notifications to the delegate printing workflow. When a job has delegates added to it, each delegate will get an email notification letting them know the job is ready for release. Once the job is released, the owner will get an email letting them know the job was released and who released it. Currently, the event browser is a server tool that only shows the events on that server. Now we've created a consolidated event log browser in Print Center, shown here, that allows you to search across all servers. This is particularly helpful in a load balance environment where jobs and users are spread across multiple servers. We've also expanded our suite of health tests to cover more of the issues that could potentially impact the Pharos server. This includes issues with the server itself, such as disk space, CPU, and RAM usage, and print queue length, as well as additional blueprint service monitoring and authenticated script testing. All of these tests have been configurable thresholds that can be set per server, as well as configured notification priority. Previously, reports could only be scheduled to be sent on a monthly basis. We have now added the ability to schedule reports for delivery each day, or on a given day of the week, or on a given day of the month. We've also added a new report to the opportunity section called Untracked Volume. This report allows you to compare by device the meter data found in Site Monitor with the data tracked by Blueprint in an effort to find print that is not being captured by the print scouts. For a number of reasons, the two values will rarely be exactly the same, but where they are significantly different, there may be of interest. Now moving on to mobile print. Mobile print themes for 2017. Improved performance. We're also doing a research effort jointly with Rochester and our New Zealand teams and outside teams to research our next generation of mobile print across our entire platform. This summer, we'll be releasing Mobile Print 2.2.1, resolving load-related problems. It improves reliability under heavy loads, and we've done extensive testing to ensure stability. Beta just started on this new version, and we're expecting a release by the end of July. For our mobile print apps, we have iOS and Android. With respect to the iOS application, we had an update in April to support custom URL schemes. This allows an organization to have their own app and put a link within that app to the Pharos print app. So for example, in higher education, if there's a student center app that students log in and do normal activities, they can put a button in there to jump directly from there into their Pharos print app on their mobile device. And in June, we're releasing another feature, which is integrated with the iOS sharing extension. So this creates an additional extension where we can share between more apps on an iOS device and gives us direct access to the iOS photos for printing those with your Uniprint or Blueprint system. Moving on to terminals. So that's the at-the-device experience provided by our IMFPs, Sentries, and Omegas. What's driving us here? We're building the next generation of Pharos IMFPs based on the latest firmware versions provided by the manufacturers. We're striving to have an improved and common deployment, installation, and user experience across our IMFP line. And that will be true for Sentry Print Services, Blueprint, as well as Uniprint. This spring, we have an update for HP IMFP supporting the new Future Smart 4 devices and the new user interface that comes on those devices. We're also supporting additional Canon engine families. And we've put a lot of effort into that new line of Sentry Print Services integrated printers. Those are deployed and installed directly from the cloud for locking down the printers and providing secure pull printing. Of course, that's what our current IMFPs are doing. These are brand new ones integrated with the latest firmware versions from the manufacturers. And we'll be providing in that Beacon platform HP, KM, and RICO support in August of this year. Items that are in development. We're creating those next generation IMFP terminals with a new UI right now, leveraging the ones we've built for Sentry integrated printers. First on deck are Konica Minolta. We're calling it Konica Minolta IMFP version 2. That'll be for both Uniprint and Blueprint, and RICO IMFP version 2 for Uniprint and Blueprint as well. So those are currently in development, working off of the work that's been done for Beacon. We're also working on supporting new product lines that have been introduced into the market by Xerox. So specifically the AltaLink devices, as well as VersaLink devices. We now have a version of SR25, Sentry SR25, that is supported in Uniprint. That's a replacement for our former PS60 hardware. And our Omega PS200 has a hardware update. We had to update the processor on that product, but essentially the software, the workflow remained the same. Some planned projects beyond these, which are always subject to change. We will, focus on putting some native scan capabilities up into our new version 2 IMFPs for native support of scan to email, scan to home capabilities. We'll be working towards a consolidated management console for our new IMFPs to have a single tool to install and maintain the new IMFPs. And we'll be working with different makes and models and adding those, new IMFP v2 versions later in the year. Okay, last but certainly not least, we're going to go through some updates with the Uniprint product platform. What's driving us here? So harden our current 9.0 R2 product for larger loads, high availability. Continue a movement towards simplification of the administration features. We really want it to be easier to manage, require less time and fewer resources for you to manage Uniprint and all of its capabilities throughout your organization. We're also working toward updating the student and patron experience across the Uniprint product line. These are the things that are currently driving us in the next versions. In the first quarter of 2017, with Uniprint and Uniprint with mobile print, some in the community here did experience issues. We do really thank everyone out there that helped us get to the root causes of those issues and working through applying fixes to their systems to keep everything running out there. We really looked at that very hard. We've worked hard. The team has done a lot of effort to create proper fixes for any of those issues, as well as revamping some of our software testing technologies and procedures with lessons learned from those deliveries. So we're focusing on a release of stability this summer. We've gone and done extra effort to really identify root cause for some of the stability issues we had with some customers, addressing those features, issues without introducing any new features that may make the challenges even greater. And then we've been testing, and then doing more testing and creating new testing routines and getting more people involved with testing. And we're committing to keeping 9.0 R2 under current support through at least the second quarter of 2018. So if you choose to stay with the product feature set at that of R2, then you know that you won't be forced into any upgrades for new features unless you'd like to move to new features. So we've got a bunch of things coming out for Uniprint over the next couple of months. So I'm going to step through each of those. Kind of what I'm calling phase one, and released already is for 9.2 is an update for 9.0 R2 Service Pack 4, and that addressed the updater service heap exhaustion issue that we were having with some customers. It also updated the secure release component of Uniprint to fix a slow startup issue and to support our mobile print 2.2.1. We just began early customer testing on that mobile print 2.2.1, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation. Coming at the end of June are some security patches and updates for the Uniprint platform. So for 9.0 R2, those updates will come via the updater service. And for those that are on 9.0, 8.4, and 8.3, there'll be downloads available in the community. And those are just some overall security things that we've identified over the last period of time and decided that they should be patched across all of the systems out there. Moving towards the summer time frame, there's going to be a Uniprint 9.0 R2 Service Pack 5. And that's going to enter beta test by the end of June. And it rolls up all the fixes and patches we've had since our last service pack. This has been in extensive test for quite some time now internally. And it's really a focus on system stability at all levels of load and with any version of mobile print. And we are expecting availability of that in July. One thing that has been requested many times by customers is single sign-on for Print Center. And so we're going to provide that as an optional release once you've upgraded to 9.0 R2 Service Pack 5. You're not required to take that component, but if it's something you'd like to test and use within your organization, it will be available. We'll be supporting CAST, SAML, and Shibboleth. And essentially, when users access the Print Center, they're redirected to a central authority provided by that organization. Once that user is authenticated, they'll be redirected back into Print Center logged in. And that's coming as soon as we're out there with Service Pack 5, then the availability to test and use single sign-on will also be available, again, as an option. What's coming after that? Just to reiterate, 9.0 R2 SP5, that will be supported and maintained at least through spring of 2018. And then we're working on Uniprint 9.1, which is projected to be available for testing in the fourth quarter of 2017. There's a lot of effort that's gone into our next version, 9.1. First thing I'll mention is our Print Center-based PC release station. So the current release station will still be available, but there'll also be a web-based version that can run and have all the capabilities of our current release station. This new release station will take on the look and feel essentially of the Print Center, but it's on a Windows machine in the lab environment. The single sign-on will be natively available as an option in 9.1. That will have already been released in the market ahead of time as an option. There'll be a new administration for the updater service settings to make that more malleable by you as administrators of how your updater service is working. In the Print Center, we'll be adding additional custom URL locations so you can further modify and customize your Print Center experience by adding links. For example, you can add links right in and around the Add Funds area to other funding sources that students use. So they don't have to go elsewhere. They can go right from the Print Center to those other pages, or to other student center or training places that you'd like them to go. We'll be adding additional 4 locations on the Print Center interface that are optional to use. We're also going to have native Google Cloud Service and Google Cloud Print integration for those environments that out there that use Google. Across the platform, all our products, Beacon, Blueprint, Mobile Print, Uniprint, we're working towards supporting PSL 1.2 protocol. That will be in 9.1, as well as some improvements to our installer and some of the back-end handling of the system. So we're looking for additional input from folks that are out there on things that you need and want, as always. These are things that are planned for now, and as well as leveraging some of the other technologies that we're getting from the Beacon platform to simplify as well as increase the power of our Uniprint platform over the next coming years. With Uniprint, Blueprint, Mobile Print, we're not slowing down our commitment, our resourcing, our investment in any of those platforms as we move more and more towards Beacon and Beacon technologies. But we will see that we'll be moving more and more towards hybrid environments to try and gain improvements in our solution and how you can manage our solution. So with that, we can move over and have some time for some questions and answers. The team here is ready to answer and help answer questions with me. And Lindsay's been working to catalog some of the questions as they've been coming in. So if you still have questions on your mind, please enter them in, and we'll start just taking a few questions here that we will be able to answer today. Okay, so I'm going to start with one on Century Print Services. How are Century Print Services licensed? Century Print Services will be licensed by device. So Beacon Fleet Manager and Print Analytics, there's a couple of different models that you can buy there, either by user or by subscription tier. But whenever you're adding on Century Print Services, or if you want Century Print Services standalone, the model is you pay by device. How does Century Print Services work with billing gateways, or is the product just focused on non-charging scenarios? So today it is focused on non-charging scenarios, so it's not integrated with the back end. In the future, we're looking to have both integrations with our current server-based products to provide that type of functionality, as well as potentially adding that to the Beacon platform. But for today, it is purely to add that authenticated print capability into an organization, but not the billing side. Okay, next question. Uniprint. I'll take a Uniprint question for $10. Any idea what the licensing cost will be for single sign-on? Yes, there will be no licensing cost. That's will be provided as a feature with your Uniprint system. It'll be optional for now. In the future, it'll just be available, no additional licensing required. Will single sign-on impact the iOS app authentication? Not in the deliveries for 2017. So in 2017, single sign-on will be limited to Print Center, and that authentication will not extend out to the apps. We have been hearing that, and that's something that we're looking at for future planning. Uniprint also, when will the beta testing for Uniprint 9.1 be available? That question's a little bit ahead of its time. We're projecting the fall, so November, December timeframe of this year, but that's just a projection at this point. We don't know committed. Certainly, we are aware that that would be something nice to have out ahead in the December timeframe when students leave. As we get closer, we'll update on that. There's a mobile print question. Is the mobile print custom URL scheme available for the Android app? If not, do you have an ETA on that? Yes, that custom URL schema functionality is native capability within the Android platform. So if you have an Android device today, there is a custom URL schema that you can go in. You can essentially put in a URL from the Google Play Store into your app, and it will work. That passing over from Android to Android app will work. So that's a native function. We do not need to, Pharos did not need to do anything to support that capability. Print Center. Will there be options for My Print Center custom themes to also be applied to the iOS app? That's a very good question. Today they do not pass over. We do now, just as a side note to that, we're now supporting the Print Center in Safari. So if you're on an iOS device, you can now open the Print Center in Safari and have some uploading capabilities and full capabilities. So you can do that on both Android and iOS. Use the browsers, and obviously the Print Center there, the themes will carry over. But within the apps, they currently do not carry over. We have that in the backlog. It is not currently planned, but you see that one of our themes is to update the user experience and the patron experience, the end user and the patron experience with Uniprint. So we are going to be looking at all the touch points at the IMFP. Obviously, we've already looked at the PC release station, but our pop-ups as well, and make a consistent look and feel capability across that and the apps. That's one thing we're currently investigating. What is the effort to make that happen, to improve the overall experience and extend the branding out to all the components that we manage through Uniprint. And that is a longer-term goal, the one that we are currently looking at. Okay, Uniprint question. Who do I talk to about signing up for Service Pack 5 and single sign-on beta? When might you have a specific date? So Brandon Heffernan and myself, you can contact us, and we will sign you up for those beta programs, and the time to talk is right now. So we'll get back in touch with you when we see the details of the questions, but anyone else that is interested in testing these, please reach out. We will get back in touch with you, and it's a very simple process to get you into our beta testing program and make those available. You can talk to us now, and within the next couple of weeks, we expect we can have you in that actual program. So thanks for that question. IMFPs and Omegas. Will current Uniprint and IMFP customers need to rebuy the new CAM and or RICO IMFP license to get to the version 2? So essentially, will your new IMFPs that you're working on need new licensing and costs? No. They will. The new IMFPs will support the newer generations of firmware from the manufacturers. If you're using devices that are only capable of having older firmware versions, you'll need to stay with the current IMFPs, and those will remain available, and we'll continue bug fixing on those. But you'll be able to move right over to the latest IMFP version 2s without any additional licensing or costs. Another Uniprint question. Are you going to release a Linux client for Uniprint this year? If not, you have an ETA. We do not have a Linux client planned for this year. And no, I don't have an expected date for that. As we look at some new technologies for our pop-ups, we're looking at how we can move to an environment that captures more operating systems out there today than we currently support. And within Linux, it's always a challenge. There's many different flavors of Linux out there. So we don't currently have that on the backlog. Back to the IMFPs. Will version 2 of RICO IMFP software support all the current models regardless of Java and firmware version? I believe our goal there is yes. I'm sure the team will come with if there is a list of exclusions, we'll make sure that's published. But for the most part, we're trying to support all of that, right, Bob?
It has to have Android.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as it's on the Android platform, we should be able to support that. Another question on mobile print. Will mobile print 2.2.1 have an easier setup, as in leveraging the config of Uniprint rather than basically replacing it under the hood? No, it will not. It will have the same setup as it is today in mobile print 2.2.1. There's another single sign-on question. Will the single sign-on also be added to the mobile? Or how about sign-up? I answered the one about mobile, not in the first release. Currently, that's not planned for sign-up as well, but I think that's something that we can add to our list to take a look at. Okay, I'm going to take one additional question here, and then the rest of the questions we'll answer offline and give folks just a few minutes back before the top of the hour. It's with respect to mobile print. Does mobile print 2.2.1 contain all the custom hotfixes that were applied to our environment this spring? Yes, it does take into account all the customizations and custom hotfixes that went out there. In some cases, we've spent a lot more time researching that issue and redeveloping a more robust fix than that was delivered in the original hotfix. We built a new set of testing tools specifically around some of those things, and we're able to come to a deeper understanding of some of the root causes. So it may not be exactly what you had in the custom fix to fix it, but they will all be fixed and have been tested under a load. And Brandon's running that beta test right now with some early customers and looking for additional customers to test it out on your development systems to make sure all those things have taken. So with that, I again thank everyone in this community for joining us today, taking the time and being interested in what Pharos is doing. And your questions and comments that have come in are very valuable to us in helping us to understand what your needs are and thinking is. Please reach out as you can with any other comments or questions or needs that you have. It's really important to us. And together, this is a very strong community. We will continue this series of webinars that includes more detailed instructions from our support communities and our SA community and other folks here at Pharos. And so we hope you join us again and participate. So thank you everyone again for attending, and have a nice rest of your day. Thank you.